Welcome back to Book It. We're moving our way through the book by Wayne M. Kuhn, and he's written this book, It's Time to Recharge, based on his workshops about recharge. And Wayne, today we're really going to talk about something that I get excited about, and that is relationships. Because relationships are so key to so much success. And I'm interested to see what you've done to pull relationships into recharge, the idea of recharge.
Yes, very important, very important. There's always a joke that coming from the real estate business, obviously we're talking with people, the public all the time. And I mean, this person saying, "Oh, I really love real estate. It's the people that I don't like." so it's you can see how that doesn't make any sense at all. So you have to be a people person. You have to enjoy relationships if you're going to make it in most businesses.
I was thinking about how you and I have talked about how cars tie into this sort of thing, and and I have a great relationship with my car. And I guess I have a pretty good relationship with my condominium that you helped me get, by the way. But somehow the car never gives anything back, nor does the condo. It's a little bit different there.
You're looking for a dog.
Oh, is that it?
I think so. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry to throw you off the rail there. You're talking about relationships.
One of the aspects you moved into there was the idea of being a cheerleader. Yes. And that to me actually gets a lot more to the point. Is you've got to get that kind of relationship going in order to be able to recharge people.
Definitely. And I looked at cheerleader. I like the word cheerleader, and of course the first thing we think of is the cheerleaders, on a football game or something, and the pom-poms and things that go with it, and that's the first vision I have. But I think we can all be cheerleaders, and one of the things that recharge brought to light is that if we want to, there's two sides to recharge. You're a cheerleader, but you also look for cheerleaders. And so it's a handshaking thing. And we had talked last week about being a coach and a mentor, and cheerleader is right in that mix, that line of people, so that you're an encourager. And what happens, and this is the reality, is that if you function at a higher mindset, if you're always encouraging, you're always thinking positive, thinking I can, thinking that yes, we can do this. Yes, we will have a great day. Yes, tomorrow will be a better day. 2021 is going to be a great year. If you have this mindset constantly, you become a magnet for high energy. People will be drawn to you, and all of a sudden you become their cheerleader. Because I've talked to people and say, no, I'm not really into recharge, but it's inevitable. Like you can't avoid it. If you encourage others, you will draw that energy to you, and all of a sudden, you as a recharged person, you start to affect those around you, and it's extremely powerful. And that's where the whole community is built. And that's one of my goals, is to build a community of recharged people, and grow from there. It's exciting.
It's interesting, because I took something slightly different out of the way you wrote that book. Exactly what you just said, the idea that when you have a lot of energy, you can't help but give it off. You give it off, and you recharge the people around you. But the thing that I've found, and I think I saw it in your book there, is the idea that that when you are recharging other people, it can't help but reflect back to you.
Oh,
You literally recharge yourself when you're recharging others. When you're being a
definitely,
cheerleader, you wind up getting pumped up yourself as well. Is that
definitely.
that
Definitely, and that, yeah, and it's like a handshaking that goes on. And when I wrote this book, like when I talk to people about writing this book, the publishers and some of the people said that you have to give a reason why people read this book. And when I found out that people just to create higher energy always isn't enough, especially in the sales field. Salesmen look at dollars and cents. And sometimes when they don't look past the dollars and the cents, you have to hit them in the front, in the front of the head and say, hey, buddy, if I can recharge your life, if I can increase your energy, I can increase your income, because people will be drawn to you. And all of a sudden they go, ching, 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 ching. Wow, you can increase my income by doing this? Of course I can. But the side effects and the other things that go on are immensely more important. But sometimes you have to talk turkey with some people, and that's okay. You know, all we want them to do is show up. Remember, show up.
yeah. And it's interesting. I think trying to think. I think it was huh, brain went into neutral there for a moment. Anyway, one of the comedians, it'll come to me in a second, said that 90% of success is showing up,
Yes, yes.
and that's that's it was Woody. Ah, I don't know where
That
I'm
might
going.
that may even have been in one of the sales training too. Yeah, but it is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's been repeated a lot of times. Yeah,
Yeah.
Woody Allen. Woody Allen is the guy who said it.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
90% of success is showing up, and what he was getting at. I read an interview with him a little while after he said that, and what he was getting at was that if you have something that's worth hearing, something that's worth looking at, worth buying, worth being a part of, unless you show up, nobody's going to know.
You're right.
And the idea, you may have heard the saying, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's not true. What's true is if you build a better mousetrap and tell people about it,
Okay.
then they will beat a path to your door. And that's what the 90% of showing up thing is all about. And it's the same kind of thing as you're talking about in here, when we're talking about relationships with people, generating energy for them and for you, is when they're showing up and you're showing up and you're both pumping something into it, it's going to produce results. And so, you have a whole section in your chapter here about people and about how it's necessary to have that strong interaction with people. But
Definitely.
then you move into a category that you call the secret of letting go, or the key is letting go. And I wasn't, to tell you the truth, I didn't quite get that. So tell me a little bit about that. Help me out here.
Yes, letting go. I rewrote that chapter a few times because I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. And so what you see is what you get. Letting go. There's relationships in our life that are not healthy, that are holding us back, that we're trying to make work because they've been there for 20, 25 years. And essentially, pardon my language, but they're sucking the energy out of you. Not you particular, but everybody in my audience has at least one person that likely shouldn't be there. And it's a tough call. You really have to weigh it out, because sometimes this person can be very close to you. Sometimes this person can be a friend that you've been friends for 25 years. But if you're growing and you're glowing and growing and you're feeling recharged, and you're starting to join a community of recharged people, all of a sudden there's this anchor that's going to pull at you. And at some point you're going to have to make a decision. And I hope the decision is let it go, because that person will watch you. They will watch you, and they will watch you change and become the successful person you want to be. And hopefully they'll join you at some point and understand what's happening. But if they don't understand that, that's okay too, because this isn't for everybody. One of the things, the aha moments, and it's a sad moment, but it's the way life is. I can be talking to an audience of 2,000 people, and I realize that I may only be talking to 5 or 10, because when it's all said and done, maybe only 5 or 10 will go home and they'll go, whoa, take this and run with it and start changing, making changes to their life. And why is that? It's back to chapter 3. It's back to our box, or back chapter 4, our box. Sometimes our habits are so ingrained that we just can't change them. And that's okay. That's okay. That's where those people are. But if we can make some small changes going forward, if I can talk to those 5 or 10 people in the audience that get it, then that makes that trip worthwhile. And I can talk sincerely about this because I was one of them in the audience. I've gone to sales training. I've come back with stacks of tapes back in the 80s and 90s. I put them on the shelf, and I remember looking at a set one time 10 years later, and I said to my wife, you know what? The shrink wrap is still on here. We never even opened it. Now, back then it was maybe $60, $70. It wasn't a life-changing investment, but we never even opened it. You know, and so how many people buy my book and never even opened it? I hope nobody. How many people just don't get it? And I understand that we can't bring everybody with us. But, you know, Noah only brought 2 of each animal, right? Like, I don't know if that's a good example or not, Bud, but you tell me. But I think
he only brought 8 people in all with him.
Yeah. So I don't want to beat this up, but I'm very passionate about it. I want to talk to the people that are listening, and I hope that's everybody. But I understand that timing is everything. It's not right. It's timing, and for everybody all the time. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. I went into a workshop a few years ago, and I was excited. I was pumped. I'd heard this guy before, and I knew he had a lot to offer me. And I turned to the person beside me and I said, "No, aren't you pumped? Are you excited?" And he goes, "Oh, my boss is making me come. And you know, this is going to be another boring workshop." And I thought, oh, you don't know, you know. So the workshop went on, and it went exactly like I expected. I was excited. I had my hand up when the guy was calling for questions. I was scribbling. I think I made 10 pages of notes, and the guy beside me was sitting there like,
yeah.
you know. And at the end of it, I said, you know, wasn't that great? And he says, oh, it was okay. So it was, you know, like, it's the same old, same old. The guy didn't say anything new. And I had 10 pages of notes. It really does depend who's taking away what. And if they're not looking to find anything, they're not going to take anything away from it. And as you say, that's okay. They're probably going to continue on doing what they've always done, and they're going to continue getting what they've always got, and wondering why other people succeed. Yeah. So I really do get it now that you've explained it in that context. I thought the slightly negative idea of the key is letting go. I thought, oh, I can't let go. You know, but you're right. You have to let go. Yeah. And that sort of flows into the idea of the relationships you have with people in sales. Like, not everybody listening to this is in sales or thinks they're in sales. I'd like to tell them that I disagree. I believe I've done workshops for general groups, and I say, how many people here are in sales? And I'll put my hand up, and about 10 to 15 people out of a group of 50 will put their hands up. And I'll say, I want to tell you that you are all in sales. You are all selling your ideas to the people around you all the time. And the extent to which you're successful is going to depend a lot on how much you realize you are in sales.
Definitely.
And that's
Definitely.
kind of the direction you go in your book here as well, is
Yeah,
talking.
and I think that's the key, is building relationships. Like we build relationships with our kids, you know, and we're not trying to sell them anything other than we're trying to give them a good life. And so we have to sell them on the idea that what I'm saying is the correct thing, you know, and that. So yeah, it's you're right. That ties very much into building strong relationships. Mhm.
I'm doing the work for you here in the interview. I'm supposed to be making you talk, and I talked there for 5 minutes.
Hey,
but
it's good.
but just to flow into that, you talk about teaching your kids, and we've all heard the expression, it takes a village to raise a kid. But you also go on to talk about building community. And I
Yes,
think that
yeah.
really is key as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think it's important um, to hang around, if I can use that, to associate, to collaborate with like-minded people, and decide what you want. And if you have a group of, you know, people that you're with and they all know what they want out of life, then you can start feeding from them. You can start talking to them as far as where the challenges are, and build your mastermind. And so I think that's what's important as far as building the community. Uh, um, it all ties together. Accountability within the community is there. Everybody's got their own back. Um, I couldn't understand why people, you know, they don't get that all the time. Um, I I go, like, I was born in a Christian family. We used to go to church every Sunday, and sometimes people, you know, whether it's Toastmasters or church or any organization, they'll sit back. You know, you've likely heard this. Yeah, I was a Toastmaster one time, and you want to go, yeah. Can you imagine somebody said at church, yeah, I was a Christian one time. Yeah, I was I was a recharge student one time. Yeah, like, this is not a one-time moment. This is a lifetime commitment for being a better person. And if you want to be a good Toastmaster, then you're practicing those skills every week. If you want to be a good Christian, then you're going to church every week and you're learning what it takes to be an effective Christian. If you want to be recharged, you work at it every day, starting with the hour of power in the morning. You start and you program your day every day. So this isn't something that we're going to do in the next couple of weeks and then we're going to lay it down and go on with our life. You're welcome to do that, but I encourage you to make this a part of who you are. Make this a mission in life to become fully charged and enjoy. Like, the benefits are so great. That's all I can say in that area. I'm starting to
Growing,
preach, God.
it's a it's a growing experience. And
Oh,
like
yes, yes.
on the Christian thing, I had a pastor one time, somebody said to him, I went to church once, and that was fine, but I heard what I needed to hear, and I've moved on. And the pastor said, yeah, I know what you mean. I had dinner once, and it was good. And but now I've had dinner, so I don't need to have it again. I was sort of
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at him. But it's true. I mean, you can, I read Recharge. Okay, great. But now I'm reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's good that you're reading different books, but try to do what they say. And I think you've really hit the nail on the head there, Wayne. I've been talking to Wayne Kuhn for the last few minutes about his book, Recharge. It's time to recharge. And we're going to talk again tomorrow about the next chapter, which is really, in a way, is kind of like getting back to getting out of the box. We're going to talk next in the next session tomorrow about stretching yourself and going beyond what you already know. And I, I tell my listeners, you've got to come back for this one, because this is where Wayne's really going to get to tell you how you can succeed and how you can grow. So I've been talking to Wayne Kuhn, author of Recharge, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Wayne. You have a great day.
Thank you, bud. Take care.